Hello, friendly neighborhood Spider-Men. My name is Freaky. Welcome back to another video here today. It's going to be another story because you guys love this stories. Got to keep on bringing them. The gameplay in the background. I know I have some people comments on some of these stories. Apparently, some people watch these stories and they don't play video games. That's what I put in these videos because I don't have an interesting type of thing that I can sit down and talk in front of. So sorry about that if you don't like games. I guess just listen to it. Otherwise, the gameplay in the background is some Blackout gameplay that I got over the year. Didn't know what to do with it. I was kind of sitting on the gameplay for a long time, and I just have a ton of it. So I'm just going to put a whole bunch of clips that I did over the year on Black Ops 4. It wasn't a popular game, but I thought Blackout was pretty fun at the time, probably the first 2 or 3 months. So this is a story that I wanted to tell you guys a while ago, just never got around to it for some reason. But it's a story, okay? It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. You guys can already tell from the title. It's gonna be awesome, okay? Chill your pants, all right? So there's this trip that we usually go down to every year or so. Last year was our last year, but we were going down to Florida every year. Usually it's my dad, my brother, and I that go. This time was the only time that it changed. And it was my stepmom, or my future stepmom, and my ex-girlfriend at the time. My ex-girlfriend and I flew down while my family drove down because this year I just didn't feel like going down driving. I really hate driving like 22 hours in a car. Last year I ended up sleeping probably about 14 hours of the 22-hour drive. So I hate it. It's just super boring. There's nothing to do, and I'd rather be doing anything else than that, even though I'm terrified of flying. So we fly in. It's around the hurricane seasons. For some reason, we're always doing things during hurricane seasons, and for some reason, maybe 3 days go by. My brother decides that he wants to go to some wolf reserve. Now, when you think of Wolf Reserve, you probably think in your mind, oh, wow, it's probably going to be like a petting zoo, or maybe like a zoo where you just look at wolves and you're like, wow, that kind of wolf looks really cool. Look at that wolf. Wow, he's eating food. Wow, there's a person coming out, a tamer. He's going to feed them and then make them do sort of like trick type things that they learned in a herd. And it's going to be kind of cool to watch them do all this stuff. All right, hour later, let's skedaddle out of this place because this isn't really that entertaining, right? That's what happened in my brain when we were going to this thing. No, this was the total opposite of a freaking zoo. There was no one there if anything happened to anybody. Nothing there if anything happened to the animal. Nothing there to protect said people and or animal from escaping. Nothing besides the workers that work there that were more like, hey, this is our house. Well, welcome to our house. Okay. We're going to be cooking burgers over there, and we're going to be making also vegan burgers over there. None of these food are really good. They're just a cash cow to get extra money from you guys. They're going to be like $12 a burger, okay? Thinner than a Happy Meal cheeseburger at McDonald's, all right? Everything else, sodas, probably $5 a can, all right? Not too expensive. Just we need extra money, even though we just charged you $45 to entry fee. And we got a gift shop, by the way. Guess what? What do you think it all has? Just wolves, because we love wolves for some reason so much. Oh my god, it's like a family get-together. Oh my god, we're like all a family checking out wolves. It's going to be great. Now hold up. Wait a minute. Pause right now. You didn't pause. Just kidding. You're supposed to listen to me. So, picture your house. Picture what your land is like right now. Where you're living. Picture the property around your house, right? Multiply that by 10 times the amount of land and just slap on a couple of fenced off areas. Helicopter drop off some wolves in that area. And there you go. That's pretty much what this reserve was. Wasn't super exciting. Now take your family members, yes, your loved ones that you have around you at all times. I'm sorry if you don't have loved ones. You should probably get some. Maybe your friends. Put them in the picture too. Now, don't pay them anything. Just expect them to be learning and babysitting and feeding and taking care of the shit that's on the ground and making sure nothing breeds too much and making sure no one comes and takes them from you. That's pretty much what this was, okay? it was a little bizarre, but we're gonna get into that. So after eating our very expensive $35 McDonald's cheeseburger, but the thing it does start off pretty cool. So when you go to said place like a zoo or something that there's a habitat or somebody that's like really interested in an animal, they'll tell you all about it. They'll say like how long they live, how good their eyesight is. Oh wow, did you know that wolves can like see like night vision like all other animals that are hunting animals? They can do that. That's kind of the thing that they're saying. So it started off cool. They're telling you about all the wolves, how long they live, what they feed them, kind of their habitat structure. Some wolves like this habitat, some other wolves like the other habitats. Some don't get along, so they dance in the streets like the Jets, and they do that stuff. So it started off cool. We're all like in this little I don't even know what to call it. I guess like a campfire kind of setup where everyone's sitting on logs, and picture 30 people came. I don't know how 30 people came to this. It's probably their last 30 people that has ever came to this. I really just don't want to see this place exist, honestly. And it's not for the animal's sake. It's just for the people's sake. So it started off cool. She's telling us about the wolves. They ended up bringing the wolves over to us after about 5 minutes of her jibber-jabbering about cool wolf facts. And they start slapping meat. Just slapping it. Just slapping it by people. Slapping it by people. Over and over again. And then the wolves come up, eat it. These are young wolves or maybe smaller wolves. They almost like are the size of a coyote-ish. They're really not that big. Just picture like a smaller, not a small dog, but like a smaller dog, like a medium-sized dog. That's pretty much the size of them. And they would come up to where they slapped the meat on, and they would start eating it. You could touch them, pet them. It was a little nerve-wracking at first, but then these ones were kind of fine. These are more of a tamer styled wolf, like I said, like a coyote. Like kind of these were more trained, it seemed like, and you could walk around with them, and nothing was weird about it. So we ended up walking through this habitat a little bit, and the lady's still jibber-jabbering about how all these things are... how all these cool facts about wolves are, and randomly, out of the bloom, she's like talking about how she's raising these wolves, and she says this one line that was very weird, and I'm not lying about this. It might seem like I'm lying because I'm just a random guy on the internet, and I like to be a comedian once in a while, but she straight up said, and I quote, "When I take these wolves in, there is not any moms around to breastfeed these wolves. So I had to breastfeed these wolves myself." And I am not even kidding. About 50% of the people in our 30 group caught that, and they all just stopped because no one was really listening to her. Like, literally everyone tuned her out after she kept talking about wolf facts over and over and over again. And this was like one of those things where you hear it, like if you're at a McDonald's and some people are talking shit to each other and they're like randomly about to get in a fight. That's kind of what it was like. It was like one of those, wait, what did they just say? And then you turn and you're like, oh, now we know she's fucking nuts. So she starts jibber-jabbing about more stuff. Everyone's kind of like talking about, they're like, did you really just say that she like breastfeeds the wolves? Or like she breastfeeds the wolves? Okay. And then so we all just kind of like go with it, and we're seeing where she ends up taking these conversations with. And we're walking through this habitat. Some of the wolves are like interacting with the other wolves on the opposite side of the fence. They're like howling at each other and trying to jump at each other. So it's kind of interesting. Then we walk out of this habitat, go into the other habitat, and she keeps going on. And then she has this another blip, another like tick that happens in this lady's head where she has to tell us about how the government has taken her wolves away before, or have tried to, because apparently she's not allowed to have the said habitat. And she was like, well, the government one time, after wolf facts, we're going to talk about this, but the government one time, they took my wolves away. And they said I wasn't licensed to have wild animals on my property. And I said that was bullshit. And then I got arrested for like 5 years. I went to jail. And then I came back. And then she never really got to how she got the habitat back. I'm guessing like somebody fucking bought the property or something and actually had a license or gave her a license, or she ended up getting a license and somehow got her wolves back or ended up getting different wolves back. But you can see where this is going. It's building, right? Like, it went from I breastfeed my wolves here, and they got taken away from me. And I went to jail for like 5 years. Now, I don't know if 5 years was accurate, but it's around there probably. Now, you're probably thinking, Freak, how can it get even crazier than this? Well, just wait a second. We got a couple more weird things that are about to happen. We go into an Antarctic, I guess, winter wolves exhibit. I don't even really know how to explain it, but it's a wolf that likes snow, okay? That's the type of wolf, and it's a lone wolf. It's not a very happy wolf. So we kind of sit down in the same kind of position as we started in, but in a different habitat now. And the one thing that they told us, they said, don't move or make sudden movements. Okay, when someone tells you that, when you're in a locked-in cage with a wild animal, you would expect someone to be there with either a kind of that neck brace thing where they can capture the animal, someone with a like a stun gun and or a blow dart type thing, something that they could stop the animal if the animal would have attacked, right? No. It was probably a 90-pound woman, a 145-pound woman that breastfeeds her wolves, and a random guy that looks like he just got the job from like a local ad in the newspaper, just chilling by the fence on his phone. That's who was with us when this wolf came out. Now, this wolf came out, and she said not to make sudden movement, so no one's doing anything. We're really not even supposed to pet the animal, but everyone's petting it anyways. And it's just walking around. Everything's cool, just sniffing people and just doing all this stuff. Now, they told us in the beginning of this walkthrough that we were supposed to tuck our the tongue of your shoe. It's supposed to, your pant leg are supposed to go over it, and your shoelaces are not supposed to be exposed. Now, when someone tells you that when a dog is in the room, what do you expect is going to happen? The dog and or wolf in this scenario is going to go for your shoes. Well, they didn't say that this wolf, regardless of your pants being over your shoes, would do anything about it. Now, the wolf is still walking around. It's looking real nice. It's pretty. It's a big wolf. Whatever. La-di-da-di-da. It's like the 50th wolf that we've seen in the exhibit so far. The wolf decides to come over to my girlfriend's shoes at first and start yanking on the shoelace aggressively. Then the guy on his cell phone, remember the newspaper guy on his cell phone hanging out by the fence? He decides to come over and lightly start petting the animal and saying, "Oh, no, don't do that. No, stop. No, don't do that. Don't do that." And then they finally got the wolf away, right? They even, like, kind of nuzzle the wolf in another direction so it doesn't do it again. Well, guess what? It comes back, and now it comes after my brother's shoe. And it starts ripping pieces off of my brother's shoe aggressively, and to the point where it was almost dragging my brother's leg. Okay? And it took them about 5 minutes, it felt like. It probably was realistically like 2 or 3 minutes, but it felt like a long time for them to get this wolf off of my brother's leg at this moment. They had no control over any animal. I wish I knew what exhibit this was because I'd be calling it out in the video, but they had no control of these animals at all. I know it's supposed to be a wild reserve where they keep it as tame as possible, but when you enter into a world where you have customers come in to the exhibits, you need to have some control of the animals to where they're not going to bite people. Now, this is where it even gets even spookier. There's a subsection that we all went to at the end of the exhibit, and it's going to be a fun little thing where you guys get to take pictures with the wolves. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be cute. Everyone gets to sit by this rock where the wolves come up on top of the rock, and they pose. And then you get a cool picture that you have to pay $100 for at the gift shop. Remember the gift shop with the wolf stuff where you can go back and go pay $100 for that? Yeah, and guess what we're taking it with? We're taking it with a Polaroid. Not a digital camera. No. A Polaroid. But you got to pay $100 for that. So we'll see you back at the gift shop. And watching this go down where they were taking pictures, it looked good at first. It looked like everyone had shit handled. Okay, there was like 5 more people here now, so 5 like family members that were helping this lady take pictures now with the 30 group people that wanted to get a picture, but they didn't know they were going to be charged. They thought it was going to be a free of service since we already paid like $90 in food and ticket. No, that wasn't it. So now picture a line with a big rock that's like 12 feet up in the air, where we pose in front of, and now picture just these couples going in thinking this is going to be a cute little thing where they get their pictures taken. I swear one of them like just got married. I remember hearing somebody say it for some reason. All these couples that get married or engaged, they're always like, "Yeah, guess what, guys? I don't know any of your people, but guess what? Engaged. Boom. Check it out." They always have to do that. I'm not jealous. I'm just jealous. So they're all taking these cute pictures. Everything's going fine for the first couple of people until the wolves start getting agitated and they kind of want to play. So I shit you not, about 5 groups this happened to. First time something weird happened is when the wolf started licking a bald guy's head after it took the hat off of his head. That was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty cute, interesting. But then it got even more bizarre than that. The wolves started getting more and more playful and or agitated, and they didn't want to be sitting there on top of the rock forever like an item for those people to make money. They didn't want to be used as that, apparently. So they started getting pissed, and this lady started getting dragged up, I shit you not, about 4 feet off of the ground for about 20 seconds before anyone helped. Yet again, like the Arctic wolf, where no one helped right away besides saying, oh, it's just a wolf. Oh, it'll let you go. It's not like it's a wild or anything, and it's not like we don't train them or anything either. So, and it started like literally pulling her by a collar, like pulling her up, and no one's doing anything about it until someone rushes in and then finally like unhinges the collar. And this happened to about probably 3 or 4 groups before it kind of like shut down this mood where we were like, you know what? Do we really want to get a picture taken in front of the wolves? And I think we got a quick snapshot and then we just kind of bounced. After that whole shenanigans, we ended up going back to our hotel that we were staying at, and we ended up looking up the reviews. For some reason, we didn't look up reviews before we ended up going. And everyone commented on the same thing about this woman, that she would cry during the talking about the wolves. Either that she lost the wolves before, went to jail. They didn't bring up the breastfeeding thing. That must have been a new thing that she talked about. They said that the exhibit was more like a backyard party with wolves involved, which, yes, that it was. There's no security or management of the animals if anything would happen. Yes, that's exactly what have happened. And the prices were super expensive. Yes, that was all true. And everyone was giving this place like a 1-star rating only because of the lady that was crazy. Most of them were literally that. They're like, lady crazy, don't go. I don't know why this lady's so crazy. Don't go. You like wolves, but you don't like crazy ladies? I don't advise. That's pretty much how the reviews on this place went. I'm really hoping this place isn't open still, because it was almost like I'd rather have gone into an exhibit full of alligators. Because the alligators, if they're fed, most likely not going to do anything to you. They're just going to chill, hang out, have a good time, as long as you're not pestering them. Wolves, on the other hand, they're like dogs. They get playful. They're a little too big. They got claws. They got sharp teeth. Wolves like to bite. They like to do that thing. It's like their affection thing. But if they get too into it, and if your habitat isn't structurally sound where they're being fed, guess what? They get a little agitated. They get a little angry. They get a little pissed off. And this is how you get a really, really crazy woman as well. So if you ever wanted to breastfeed wolves, go hit this lady up. She's down in Florida.